Welcome to Warcraft Reloaded, a podcast brought to you by Mash Those Buttons, covering World of Warcraft Classic and its community. I am Bobby, also known as Blazing Bob, and today we're joined by Mel, aka Melarina. How you doing?
Hi. 2 weeks in a row, you lucky duck.
I am so lucky. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. We also
I just said you're welcome.
Thank you once again. We also, joining the show again, like guest that comes by all the time. We love him. Ayle, how you doing?
Doing good. I just realized, were you a ballerina if Bob was a sprinter?
I was a ballerina.
Oh, wow.
That's actually how we came up with her name when she first started WoW.
You guys, I was
cool.
not like this whole like making up a name thing. Like he was like, pick a name. And I was like, what do you mean pick a name? And then it was like so much pressure. It's like what name you're going to pick, right? And it was so much pressure. I've just kept it the same. But the amount of times I get called malaria is really annoying. Just going to say.
We were also joined by upcoming Wrath aficionado Rugs. How you doing?
Hey man, doing good. Thanks for the intro, Bob. I'm happy to be here, man. This is really exciting. I'm just kind of bummed. I mean, what the hell, man? It's episode 97. You couldn't bring me on for the 100th, dude? All right. Okay.
Well, I mean, who knows what we'll do for
doing.
that? Yeah. We'd maybe just have like a whole bunch of people just pop in and out and just have it be crazy town. Be like just a ton of guests that have been on. We just sing, we sing campfire songs like Kumbaya and everything, and just
oh yeah.
I mean,
I like how you're like, who knows what we're gonna do? This is exactly what we're gonna do.
Yeah, right. I think it just has not been approved by Mel yet. So he's like, maybe let's see what the audience thinks of this.
Yeah, Mel, is this really a Kumbaya podcast?
It's definitely not.
You know what we could do? We could do like a game show type of thing that would be really cool. Like where we have like a bunch of people come on and I ask trivia questions, whether it be lore, whether it be mechanics, differing mechanics from classic to Wrath or from Wrath to TBC.
Nope. If we're going to do that, I have to host because you can't expose everything that I do not know. Who's really going to put a splinter in the podcast here. Everybody's under the impression that I'm the all-knowing Mel, right?
That's exactly what everybody says every
100%.
time.
Yeah,
that's
like,
exactly.
Gosh, could Mel know any more?
Melstein.
Thank you. See, that would have been a good name, Ayle.
Oh,
where were you when I was picking it? Come on.
All right. Well, we've got Rugs for the first time on the show. Rugs was nice enough. Him and Scotty J do a podcast. They're getting off the ground called the Dalaran Sewers, right?
Yeah, that's right. Dalaran Sewers Pod.
Yeah, and you had me on for the very first episode, and that episode was a banger. That was a good time. Like, we were at Comic-Con. I regrettably should have turned on a light in front of me because I got so many people saying that I was the guy that his voice and image has been changed to, keep him safe, like the witness protection program.
It was the first thing I said to him when I watched the stream. I was like, why didn't you turn on the light? And he was like, I don't know. I didn't think about it. And I was like, well, that's weird.
I had to set up everything on the laptop there. I was afraid the internet wasn't going to work. It was crazy. But if you haven't checked that out, it was a really good episode. And you guys are doing another one this weekend, right?
Yeah, tomorrow we're doing our next one.
Who's going to be on that? Just to let everybody know.
So Scotty and I host it, so we'll be on every episode. But Index and Snacky Box are coming by for tomorrow. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Those guys are just straight up comedians, and it's gonna be an absolute zoo. Trying to stay on topic, I think.
Awesome, and they can find that on both you and Scotty J's channel, right?
Yes, all of the recordings and everything will be posted on our channels. Scotty will just air it live on Twitch if you guys want to see it.
Awesome. All right, well, yeah, look forward to that, and the majority of the people that hear this are going to hear it on audio Monday, but definitely check that out on YouTube. Have you guys got it on audio formats yet? I talked to Scotty and offered him some help. If you like, let him know, like, I can help him out and get it up there free. It's super easy.
Yeah, we'd love that, man. Absolutely. Why not? Right.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, they're two completely different audiences, audio and YouTube. Some of them are together, but basically it's two different audiences, and the audio version people are nicer. I guarantee you. YouTube is a lot of cruel people, but okay. So let's get into the show. So this show, we're going to go, and we got a couple. Or here, first off, I like to remind everybody, if you want to catch us live, you can do that on twitch.tv/BlazeandBob. We do it usually Friday nights, sometimes Saturday nights, depending on if we have someone from across the pond, but usually Friday or Saturday nights. That's BLAZZINBOB. All right, we're going to go in. We have a review and an email, and we're going to go over that real quick. Then we're going to go about what we've been doing lately in WoW. Then we're going to talk just like what we did leading up to Sunwell, maybe just a little bit of raid talk. Like, might find out how many Glaives Rugs Guild has gotten as opposed to Ayle's Guild or our guild. But then we're going to talk Sunwell, but that's going to be in the news. So we're going to go through the news. There's some news. We'll talk Sunwell and what we've done since it opened up yesterday in that section. Then, if there's time, we're going to do an interview with Rugs. And if there's not time, don't worry. That interview will still be done. It'll just be done at a later date. So that being said, let's get into it. Mel, you want to take the first review?
Oh, sure. Bob never preps me for this, so it's always like a mystery as to what I'm going to do here.
Surprise.
Okay, so hindsight 28. Interesting. Instead of 21. Better hindsight than other people. Or is 28 worse? If you have eyesight 21.
So the actual saying is hindsight 2020. 2020's like almost perfect vision. 2015's
totally
perfect.
Ruined the little analogy there. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, we got this. Okay. So he said, this is from Warcraft Radio? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. He said, I got into this podcast when I decided to return to WoW TBC Classic for the return of the Lich King. And I love it. Some amazing content and just what the community needs. Makes my journeys to and from work a lot bloody easier as they're long ones. Keep up the honesty as well. We love to hear the passion you three bring about different subjects, even if it means Yip loses it. Love it. Smashing work. My routes are for the Horde, however. That's unfortunate.
The Horde.
Someone, Scotty J, may have swayed me for the Alliance. ... Horde. Extra messy.
Or the Alliance.
Raceway. Thank you, hindsight. I hope that Scotty J can influence you more to go towards the Alliance, because we all know that's the better race. But, teach their own.
Oh, the Alliance!
It's all right. Oh my gosh. Please take away Bob's new toy.
So yeah, they mentioned Yip. I forgot to mention at the top of the show. So everybody's been saying Yip can't leave the show, but he's been wanting to do his own thing for a long time, guys. He's going to be trying to do his own thing on YouTube. We'll definitely let you know when he gets stuff out so that you can check him out. So don't worry, he's not gone. And he let me know the other day that he would like to come on the pod here and there, just like Melderon does. So you haven't seen the last of Yip on Warcraft Reloaded. So just just hold out, and he's got some plans for some cool YouTube stuff coming up, but he just never was doing the podcast every week. So wish him luck, and we'll definitely see him in the future. Next email comes from, he put his real name, so I'm not going to say his real name, but it comes from James. Hi, just a quick review and thanks. Thank you, Bob, Mel, and Yip, and guests for making this highly entertaining podcast. I'm fully addicted to checking in to all episodes, especially those with heated debates between Bob and Yip. They show you guys really care about this. I really appreciate the hard work you guys put in for this series, and someone who travels a lot for work, the otherwise boring drives and flights are consistently entertaining by the quality you guys put out. I can't wait for Wrath and the Yogg Zero drama that hopefully ensues. Kel. Yeah, the Yogg Zero drama is going to ensue in a lot of guilds, I'm pretty sure. Don't you think, Rugs?
Absolutely, man. I mean, the Yogg Zero is like second hardest fight in the whole game. It's going to be insane.
Ayle,
then the drama of like, once you clear it, are you going to go back and re-clear it for the mount? Or are you just like, never again? No, don't take me back to that hellhole.
Dude,
Yogg
that's
Zero.
what I told you. That's what I told you about us doing it live. Like, we were second on the server. We did it once, and we're like, we doing that next week? They're like, no, we're done. Achievement achieved. We're done.
Yep.
If you didn't get the achievement, too bad for you.
That's so sad. Should have showed up to raid.
Did you ever do that, Ayle? The Yogg hard mode?
I actually didn't start reading hardcore until ICC and Wrath the first time around, so I totally missed Old War.
Oh, bummer. Did you ever play it on a private server or anything?
Not for Yogg Zero. I have ran it, but nothing to that level. He's a pain in the butt, even with Watchers up. So Zero, man, seems rough.
It was so many
impressed with
polls.
everybody that remembers everything about like original. So I really struggle. I don't know. I feel like my memory is not that bad, but every time I like get into the game, I realize my memory is very bad.
You piss me off, to be honest. Like, okay, so we were also second on the server to get Sarth 3 Drakes up. Second on the server, also another one we never did again. Just pointing that out. Like we're doing these things, but like they're like, nope, we're done with that. We're not doing it again. Guess who won the fucking mount? Mel. And how does she not remember this? Like,
I don't.
It's a huge thing. It's just like, she's like, I don't even remember doing Sarth.
Listen, though, when I get in there, I like remember again, right? It's like I just have to be immersed back into the environment, and then it like all comes flooding back, kind of. You know?
Kind of.
It's all coming back to me now.
No, Bob. Nope.
I could sing it as a gnome.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so next topic we have.
All right, so what have you guys been doing lately? And wow, we want to let the guests go first. This is non-Sunwell, but so, I mean, I guess now let's talk about the Isle of Quel'Danas and all that later. So this is just anything besides those two things.
Anything other than everything that came out this week? What have you been doing?
But, I mean,
It's gonna be very short for me because I haven't done anything but the new content.
Okay, well then you just shush.
I mean, I can't say a whole lot more either because I've been doing all the new content as well. Anything other than that, I've dabbled a little bit on a couple private servers lately. Only Warmain, Frostmourne right now, but other than that, yeah, I've just kind of been really, really into the Sunwell shit. I love it.
Gotcha. And Mel?
You guys, I've been grinding like crazy. All of it. No, I'm just kidding. I haven't been doing anything other than the new content. That's all. I don't think. Did I do anything, Bob? Okay. I feel like my memory thing is just really coming to fruition
coming,
here.
to full circle here.
But yeah, no, I think it's just, well, we did do BT and
Yeah, but I mean, we could talk about that here in a second.
Yeah, well, I guess one thing I could mention is I did buy my full PvP set from season 3
nice
on my paladin.
Hmm.
So now I have a full
See?
ret set to crank with. That's pretty much the only thing I've done is got that and worked on enchanting it and getting my weapon skill up. So I guess I have done a little bit in preparation for arena matches, but
which we need to get in this weekend.
we do. So I'm ready to hit stuff with a big sword now. So
Ayle, did you cheat and use tier tokens to get your full PvP set?
no, I didn't. I just sandbag points all season to save up 5,000 playing with Bob in crap gear. And yeah, basically saved up 5,000 and then cashed them all in at the end.
Which
There
is
you go.
exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did this week. So on my warrior, I was able to get full season 3 at the end of the season. I screwed up and I bought the gloves like I came back after hardcore, like when season 3 had already started, and I went ahead and bought my gloves on the warrior. And if I hadn't done that, I would have been able to buy the sword too. But I still have Stun Herald. So I'm sitting on Stun Herald until maybe I can get the ZG sword and swap over to swords. But I'm full season 3 gear. I banked honor, was able to get all of the honor stuff right off the bat too. So my warrior's sitting there ready to pump. Got Doria's Embrace too, just yesterday for him. So he's set. The rogue, a little bit sour on because I'd saved up everything. Like I've got everything except for the chest. I've got both the season 3 weapons now. Like the rogue just hit 70 during season 3. So saving his points was really nice because it's jumped up big time. But now I'm finding out you need a ton of Sunwell gear to compete as a rogue in season 4. And so I'm kind of bummed there. I might have to go to some GDKPs, but I don't know. People have shown me some other people that use just pure PvP gear and do good on a rogue. So I might look into like their strategies and see if I can find a partner that it goes with that strategy. Because like, I don't know, getting my rogue into Sunwell is going to be a pain and it's going to cost a fortune for anything I get, I'm sure. So, but yeah, that's what I've done. Besides the new content is just get everything ready, and my 2 PvP characters are like ready to roll. But yeah, we could talk a little bit about our just Tuesday night raid. We went in, destroyed BT and Hyjal. Don't know that there was anything weird that happened. We did get another glaive, so that's 2 pairs and 1 offhand.
Mhm.
And
So
I
we've
got my
gotten,
skull.
yeah, 5 in the last 6 weeks. We've gotten 5 glaives in the last 6 weeks.
Is it 6 or 7?
Damn.
6.
Yeah, it's freaking. We've been lucky here at
It was
the
a
end.
dry run before then.
No.
but-
Because IDD got his quite a bit, like
No,
his
we
main
got
hand.
1. Yeah, we got IDD's main hand before.
So then
but
we've
then
gotten 4 in the
5.
last. No, we've got because we only have 5
No,
total.
We've gotten. No,
We
because
only have
IDD
5
has
total.
2.
Harscar
Yes, you're
has
right.
2. Yeah, and Casaba has 1.
4 in the last 6 weeks, I guess.
Yeah. So it's been pretty good. Have you guys had luck on glaives? Like this is so interesting because it's so weird across the different guilds.
Dude, no, the guild that I'm in, the run that I'm in, we've never seen a glaive drop
You're in Fusion
Never.
now,
At
right?
all?
at all. And then, yeah, I'm in Fusion Raid V, and Raid V hasn't seen a glaive at all. And then here's the kicker. Me personally, I've jumped between 2 different guilds now. I have never, any week, at any point, seen a Madness of the Betrayer drop.
We
No
haven't
madness.
seen one madness either. Not one.
That's-
Wow.
That's ridiculous, dude.
Something is up with the loot because
You guys-
we've seen madness. We haven't seen any skulls, and I think we've had one or 2 staffs, but none in like 10 weeks.
I got
So weird.
skull.
They feel
We've
like
had
with
4
Meldron,
skulls.
Bringing Meldron on, bringing Meldron on with his tinfoil hat about the like loot conspiracies that are going on in the game, I feel like was one of the funniest things I've ever listened to. But also, we all tried everything that he was like talking about, right? I was like,
and
come on,
Ayle's
that can't be
in, yeah,
right.
Ayle's in Meldron's guild too.
I know.
I'm a believer, man.
But have
I'm a
you guys switched up
believer, I
who's,
could leave her
who's
if I
you know,
tried.
doing it, what time you're doing it, you know?
we when we get one we like, we try to go with the same person. So when we got main hand glaive, we used the same person at the same time. We got another main hand glaive the week after. We tried it again for a third week. We didn't get it the third week. However, it was a different month, so we're like, is it based on like some sort of timestamp? Maybe, you know.
Oh my
I
god!
feel like there's this like huge. I feel like if you could get this huge data dump and like put it into graphs, and come on, people, somebody's got to be able to do this. Is like when this person zones in first, and when this person's the raid leader, and when this person does this, like, oh my god.
Like, someone needs to make like a loot aggregation drop site or some
Right.
sort of add-on just to track it to see.
See, there
You
you
know?
go. There you go. We got the new epic add-on. And then you're just gonna realize after like 6 months of data, you're like, yeah, it's completely random. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn it.
I mean,
What
it's
if
so
some
weird though. There's
people-
like there's a half a different items that we didn't see a single piece of this tier, which is like I think we didn't see some stuff in the previous tier, but it was far less. We at least saw I think like pretty much one of everything, right?
Mhm.
I think we did too. We had one drop that dropped the final week, and it was the first time we'd seen it in SSC. God, I can't remember what it was, but it was like the final week. But I think we saw everything.
Unreal.
Yeah, so Fusion has like Jordy was on last week. Was telling, or the week before last, was telling us Fusion has like 4 across 6 raids or something like that. Like that's uncanny.
Yeah, it's pretty rough over here. It is pretty rough. It's not okay.
Well, you should implement the whole like somebody else zoning in first, somebody else raid leading, doing it at a different time, you know, try to get all those factors, you know. And then you'll become a believer the first time that it happens, and then you'll never be able to recreate the situation. It's very sad.
I feel like y'all are convincing me that the earth is flat right now.
Wait, it's not?
Random doesn't actually mean random. There's factors involved in the randomness. Yeah, it's fine.
It's just Blizzard messing with us. Like, this guild's too good. We're just going to make sure they don't get any glaives. And then, of course,
This guild over here, Varg, though, you know, let's just push them at them. They really need this help.
Yeah, these guys are struggling. Let's make sure that they get their stuff. But yeah, I got Skull too, so I was pretty happy. It was good too because we're DKP, so like I was sitting like second overall in DKP, and I needed to spend that before we went to the next tier because we do a 30% cut, so I would have lost like a third of my DKP. So I got to spend something big there at the very end.
Damn.
Listen, I spend DKP all the time on anything, and I always have a decent amount of DKP. I don't know how that works, but I think it's because I don't decay anything hardly because I spend it. Like if something drops that I need, I'm gonna bid DKP on it.
Well,
I don't always get it. But
everybody made fun of my gearing path, like at the very start of BT and Hygel, and I just went. I'm a lock. I just went like paid huge prices for tier right off the bat, and then I'm the one that has the highest parses throughout the entire dungeon because everybody held out to get Skull and Zardoom, and like they didn't get their tier, and then they tried to like, you know, at that point they're like, well, I can get tier less. So they tried to underbid tier, and then they still didn't get tier. And so I think my gearing process was the way to go.
My favorite Warlock moment is, and I think I've said this on the podcast before, but Warlock and Priest share a tier gear, right? And the Warlocks would always bitch because their tier wouldn't drop. But every time their tier dropped, they bid 1 or 2, and a priest would bid 5 to 10, right? And a priest would get it, and then they'd continue to bitch about tier gear never dropping. And I'm like, you just aren't paying for it. Like, what are you doing? Like, you have the DKP. So
Yep.
all.
Yep. Well,
so with
worked out
all
for
of
me.
that gear and all those warglaves, like, are y'all just absolutely destroying Sunwell with that?
Yeah, 100%.
We'll talk about that later.
Just went through it, just swept the floor with it, and just said, "Forget it, we're done."
Yeah, but has anyone told you that BT and Hygel are pretty easy?
Yeah.
Man.
I will say one other thing I did this week, or no, we're on raid progress now. I missed my chance. It's okay. I'll talk about it later.
What? Go ahead.
I don't think anything else happened. No, I don't think anything else happened in raid progress. I think Hygel was fine. Obviously, we did BT first, and it was good. I don't think we wiped on. Did we wipe on anything?
I don't think so.
See, Bob and I need like notes about how our raids went. I
Yeah,
feel
did
like
we-
it's like
We tried no resistance on Mother again. Were we able to do that? I can't even remember now. I'm thinking about it.
let's go with yes.
Actually, I think we did do it. I don't know.
Well, no,
Stoof isn't
we
in
did it.
chat to tell us.
No, here. I do remember we did it, but we had our healers wear resist gear.
Okay.
We just had everybody else not wear resist gear, and we did it.
Okay. Cool.
Pretty sure.
Oh, okay. Bert in chat says, yep, claimed that he thought they nerfed it. I do remember that now. We did drop it easy. Yep was like, I bet they nerfed it. Something like that. Okay, well, why don't we move into time for the news. All right, so first up in news this week, the Wrath of the Lich King Beta is supposedly July or August, according to an interview with Holly Longdale. This interview was, I don't know, 6 days ago or so, and they said they were 2 to 3 months out. Now, I immediately said, they're just trying, like, it's going to come out sooner. They're just trying to, like, hedge their bets and make sure they don't, say it's coming out and then not. Because just a few days after, the login screen has showed up in the content delivery network. So it looks like it might be sooner than 2 to 3 months. What do you guys think?
I think it's definitely going to come sooner than that. I would probably lean towards 2 months. I think 2 months sounds like a good time, probably like 6 to 8 weeks, something like that. But I know that my boy Scotty is really thinking that when Holly said 2 to 3 months, he's thinking that she actually misspoke and that it's 2 to 3 weeks. And that she meant to say, yeah, I mean, talk about tinfoil hat and flat earthers. But yeah, so we'll see.
My man Scotty.
I don't know.
Wait, he's saying 2 to 3 weeks from now?
Yeah.
There's no way. Why would they? I mean, Sunwell is going to be very difficult. And I think that we all have to realize that people are not going to want to spend forever in Sunwell, right? Because the gear doesn't necessarily transfer well to, I mean, it allows you to, what am I thinking? Quest, right? Like, but you're going to replace everything that you get in Sunwell, right? And for the amount of effort that it is, some people are going to be like, yeah, I don't know how long I want to do this. But I do think that they have to give people enough time to experience the content and to enjoy the content. And if you say 2 to 3 weeks from right now that this is going to come out, people are just going to give up and they're going to be like, nope, no thanks.
Well, but at the same time, you have to think about if a beta does come out in 2 to 3 weeks from now, it won't be everybody. It will only be content creators and friends and family. So it'll be a very small start to the beta. So it wouldn't pull the vast majority of people out. So
Okay, I think I was distracted and didn't hear you say beta. I thought you meant like release, and I was like, "This is just insane." I don't even know what you're talking about this. Like, I was like so confused.
I
Classic
think beta
malaria.
in 2 weeks is like, no, that's way too soon.
It is too soon though. Like even the beta, like, okay, I thought you guys were on a whole different, like, ignorant level where I was like, guys, what are we even talking about here? Like, I talked to Scotty J, and I feel like he was much more like on.
you were like, "Where is
page
Yip
here."
to like get these people in
Yeah,
line?
no.
What is going on?"
Thank God. But even the beta, like, people are very focused on Sunwell right now, and that's what is good for WoW right now, right? You want to release the beta when people are kind of like, okay, like I either can't do this or I can't, or I'm done and I'm annoyed with this. Like I want to move on to the next level. Like that's when you want to release the beta. I don't understand why they would release it early or wait 6 months to release it, right?
You know,
That's
one
all.
thing that I think about is so when there was this private server that came out kind of recently, and they released PTR testing for Sunwell the same day. And it was a surprise drop of PTR Sunwell the same day that this private server for Wrath launched.
Yep.
And there's a new private server coming up in about 2.5 weeks, another new one. And if anyone from Blizzard's watching, I definitely don't play on private servers, but
No.
there's a good chance that they might like sneak drop, you know, Wrath beta same day that their launch happens again. Like, I don't know.
It was uncanny because I remember going, I won't name any streamers' names, but I went to multiple streamers that day that the PTR just ninja dropped. Like, I remember people coming into my chat. I think it was Mega Man came in, is like, PTR's up. I was like, for Sunwell, I was like, yeah, right, dude, stop trolling me. And then I go to, of course, Wowhead, two minutes ago. It's like, oh, it is out. I went to multiple streamers' streams. They're like, dude, I've planned to play this Wrath private server with all my buddies the whole weekend. I'm not doing Sunwell PTR. And I was just like, dang it. I finally found Stay Safe. And Stay Safe was like, all right, we're going to do a chat raid. And I was like, sign me up. That was the worst idea I ever did. I've told the story on the podcast when it happened, but yeah, Stay Safe was hilarious. It was a whole fun meme, but we died just on the trash like 45 times. I mean, it was absurd. And Stay Safe was like, we got this. All right. We just got to do this now. All right, everybody cast. And like, oh, it was so horrible. It was so horrible.
I told Bob, I was like, I don't know what you expected from like a Stay Safe like chat PTR. Like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like you went in, you should have.
It was definitely worth it. Like it was fun for the meme. It wasn't like it was costing me anything, but I did have to leave because it came out on a Friday and I was doing the podcast, that night. So I did have to leave after a couple hours, but it was definitely a shit show.
I'm pretty sure I remember Bob looking at me going, I think I'm in a ninja log, Mel.
Well, yeah, because because I know Stay Safe, and my name wasn't Blazing Bob. It was Blazing Bobbert, but like he's calling.
Great disguise.
So in disguise.
But then as soon like he's calling people out, he's like, we had a rogue left, we had so and so left, and then it was like Blazing Robert. He misread. He thought it was Robert instead of Bobbert. But he just like called me out by name. I was like, crap. And it was like his anniversary, but I jumped in, gave him a sub, and said sorry. He was like, nah, I was just kidding with you, but it was pretty funny. But yeah, so Ayle, what do you think about like the possible release of the beta super soon?
Not super soon. I think 2 to 3 months sounds about plausible. 2 to 3 weeks. I think no, it's crazy. No way.
But could
Gotta
they
be Scotty J for that?
in 2 to 3 weeks? Yeah, yeah.
I mean, they did have stuff on the CDN, right? So there is like a loading screen and things. That hints that there's something getting ready, but I think it's a ways out yet still. I hope it is. I'm not ready.
I do too. I want to enjoy Sunwell. I want to kind of experience it. And I've never done Sunwell before, so I didn't do it. We only PvP'd in TBC last time we played. And so I'm excited. I want to experience it. And I think somebody asked, Corny B asked if Wrath Classic would have any substantial effect on Wrath private servers. And I think that Wrath Classic Beta would have an effect on TBC Classic players, right? I do think that their mindset would change once the beta comes out. And I think that their effort level and their, desire to progress through content would definitely change. Now, if it has an impact on private servers, I don't know that.
Well, and I think you're actually spot on if people are educated about how much gear changes in Wrath. See, there was a whole ton of people that had like this preconceived notion from retail. When they came back to Classic, they thought that doing Nex wouldn't help them at all going into TBC. And that was like, they thought they would be replacing their gear in Hellfire Peninsula. And that was completely false. And we talked about it on the show, months prior to release, because we researched it because we didn't quite remember either. But the next gear, lots of it was, for certain classes was, comparable for even Kara gear. Like you could just pass on stuff because it was side grades. So it does have me worried because once Wrath is like set in stone, people might just be like, I mean, you're gonna only have the people that really want to see Sunwell playing it because they're gonna be like, it's a lot of work and a lot of wipes for my dad guild. Maybe we'll just wait till Wrath. We'll have next then, which is easy as pie. Like I don't know. What do you guys think? You think it'll drop off significantly once we actually know the date Wrath's coming?
Yeah, I think it depends on the day, really. If it's a long ways away, there'd be a big drop off. Will it cause people to do less Sunwell? Like maybe. If guilds have already cleared it, I think people might be less likely to farm it. The guilds who haven't might work harder to do it, right? If they want to make sure it gets done. But I think it all really depends on the date.
And it could also just end up being a number of players wash in a lot of ways. If you think about the hype for Wrath bringing back old players who want to start early, not just start like the day of pre-patch, who want to like get back in there, and along with other players that you might just like straight up lose because, yeah, I mean, Sunwell is the end of the expansion. Like you've beaten the game once you clear it. And at that point, like if Wrath is coming up and they don't have any interest, they might be out of there pretty soon. Sure.
Well, and see, for me specifically, what I think about is I've got a good chunk of cash, like saved up. And like I talk about my rogue and how I wanted to do like a lot with him in PvP here in season 4. But do I really want to like spend that cash in a GDKP? Because my rogue's not in a guild. So do I really want to spend that cash on a GDKP just to do season 4 when like we're coming into next and like that there's the 8K ring that's also a 30-minute hearth to Dalaran. There's the mount. It's like 18K that has vendors. Like there's the choppa from, engineering, and I have 2 engineers. Like, do I really want to spend this cash now? And then you think about Sunwell progression. And if your guild's not doing good, do you really want to spend 50 destruction or haste pots every run, like every week? Like, do you really want to spend that kind of cash to, just have a chance to see the content, or do you just wait till it gets nerfed? Like, there's a whole lot of questions here that are kind of scary.
Yeah, but I feel like you guys are overthinking this a little bit, and I probably started this trend, but I feel like right now we're all excited to do Sunwell, right? Because it's new, it's the fresh content, and we want to do it. And I think that regardless, everybody knows that Wrath's coming out. So if they don't want to spend that money, they're already, whether it's 2 weeks or 2 months or 6 months, right? They're already in that mindset of like, okay, well, I'm not going to put a bunch of effort into this. The people that are doing it are the people that want to experience the content, right? Now, if you told me that Wrath was going to come out in 3 weeks, I might be like, okay, well, let's do what we can. Like, let's let's give it a shot, but I'm not going to go above and beyond to try to do this because there's not enough time to make the money back, right? And I don't know, I would like to enjoy and sit where we are as opposed to always looking to what is coming, right?
The grass
Like,
is
I'm
always
excited
greener
about
on the
that.
other side of the road, Mel. I don't know if you just
I
don't know
know.
this, but that's how it works.
I know.
It's going to be
I'm
so much
excited
better in
about
Wrath. It was going to be so much better in TBC.
I know, but
I'm
I'm
trolling
excited
you.
about Wrath, but
I know I'm
I
trolling you.
know you are. But I don't know. I feel like I would like to enjoy this content too, and I don't want them to rush it. That being said, I don't want you to slow the brakes down and make me do this content for 6 months, 12 months. Like, please don't.
Of course. And I think you like that's kind of like its own whole conversation, could probably be its own whole podcast about how fast like TBC has been going in general and all of Classic. But yeah, I'm kind of with you too. I would like for things to slow down a little bit. I mean, I went all of Black Temple Hyjal without getting full BIS, all of like SSC TK, like still
So did I.
missing one item. And
Yeah.
like that's so frustrating. And as
Dude,
much
I'm
as
missing the
want
sword.
the new content to come. I'm like, yeah, it's ridiculous sometimes. It's maybe we can slow down, sure.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
and
but not too much.
we've talked about it on the show. I truly believe that the plan for Classic was actually supposed to be faster, and COVID changed a lot of that. Like, I don't think we were supposed to be in BWL for over 6 months, you know, but I don't know, but I don't think we were. But
Nobody
I wonder what
enjoyed
happened
it.
to in phase 1 though, because like phase 1 of TBC was so long. People said, I think I saw a post that phase 1 of TBC was the same length as 2 and 3 combined.
yeah, but
Right?
Really?
we knew 2 and 3 was going to be like that because they said that there wasn't going to be a new, or at least we guessed it was going to be kind of like that because there wasn't a new arena season, right?
Correct, but why would you make phase 1, which was just Kara, right? Kara and then don't make me say names. Come on, the dragon person.
Gruel,
Gruel and
Thank you.
McCaradon.
the dragon killer,
Yeah.
dragon
Well,
person.
Maccaradon was a dragon, right?
No, he's a demon.
No.
Okay. Yeah, you know,
Yip would be
that
losing his
dragonish
shit right now.
looking thing. Yeah, I know.
Dragon
But
that stood on 4, I don't know.
don't worry about it. But like those 3 things were so less challenging than anything we've seen since, right? And so to make that phase so long, I feel like that's where people were like, oh my God. And then they're like, hey, let's speed it up, right? And maybe they thought this at the beginning. I don't know. But somebody needs to get in there and be like, listen, guys, this content's harder. So you should probably spend an extra month on this content and 2 less months on this content, right? Like, I mean, you just have to look at like, people don't want to grind and grind and grind and grind and grind, right? But they also don't want to feel like they missed out because when you go from phase 2 to phase 3, nobody's really going back to phase 2, like maybe a little bit, but not really like wanting to. And same thing, I think, when you go to phase 3 to phase 4, right? Like you might go back and do TK.
No. Phase 3 to phase 4 was just Zol
Hyjal.
Amand. No, phase 4 was just Zol
Okay, phase
Amand.
3 to phase 5. Yeah, so phase 4 doesn't count. Zolomon, whatever. But I don't know. I feel like you should do it. I feel like they spent way too much time in phase 1, and that should be the conversation, not that they went way too fast in phase 2, 3, and 4, and 5, or whatever.
Yeah, phase 1 should have been faster. Hopefully phase 1 of Wrath is faster too, but we'll see. We'll see.
Come on, man. You don't like doing Nax Ramus again?
Where's
Actually,
Nax Ramus?
I do. I am kind of excited about doing both 10 and 25 bands in Nax, and yeah, I'm pretty excited to go back and pump and do it differently. Like,
Can we talk about that though for just a real hot second? I know this is not on our thing, but Nax came back because the majority of people did not do Nax. Right? Like they re-released Nax because they were like, we spent a lot of freaking money building this whole dungeon and nobody did it because it was too hard, right? Like, let's re-release it. We've already got it. People will get to see it. It'll be great, right? But now, so many people have done that content that are going through Classic that I just wonder how exciting this is actually going to be versus how annoying it's going to be that some of the things are very different in the next 10 and 25 man that you're going to be like, God damn it. I just did this, a year or so ago and now it's different.
But that's what we dealt with when we were doing Nax in Classic is everybody's like, well, I think it works like this, but they're thinking of the 25 man version and not the actual Nax version. That was a big problem for us throughout Nax.
I just want to get your guys' thoughts on how you feel like people are going to respond to it because we just did it so recently.
I don't think they're going to be taking it well. I mean, they will obviously, like, people are going to be excited, of course, like the new content and fresh, but yeah,
gear, glorious
the allure
gear
is not there. And I don't think it'll have like any drastic effect on player satisfaction. I think it's going to be just like it was in phase 1 of TBC, like, okay, this is boring, let's go next. And Blizzard has shown that like they'll probably speed it up. But I will say this, keep in mind, as kind of like my own like favorite motto I've been saying lately, is the most forgotten about raid in Wrath is Onyxia's Lair. There's another raid that they re-release in Wrath, and it's
Really?
Oni, and it's like, yeah, we'll do Onyxia's Lair again in
Do
T9.
I need my Oni scale cloak? Do I need to go figure out where I put that?
I've still got it in the bank.
Still in my bank because I'm a little bit of a hoarder, but
they re-release Oni? When is that? I don't remember that.
Yeah,
Wasn't that in Cataclysm?
No,
it's in Wrath.
Oh my goodness!
I think it's after TOC. It's like during the catch-up raid time that like your ZA and your ZG came out type of time.
Right.
I think.
okay. What's different about Oni though? Because Oni was already 25 man, wasn't it?
No, we just did it with 25 people.
Okay. See, you guys don't make me remember things.
Yeah, we usually would split Oni 2020 just because it was pretty easy once we got like when we had gear in vanilla.
Did they make changes to Oni though? Like, is Oni very different?
See, I don't remember.
I did not play Onyxia in like Classic at all. I never did it, so I don't want to speak too off, but it's my understanding that the fight is slightly different, but basically identical. Only like a random thing with like an ad spawning that I don't think was normally spawning on the original fight.
Interesting. Kind of cool. I like Googled this because you're totally right with that, by the way. The most forgotten about raid. And they actually originally.
I don't know if I believe you.
Well, I mean, I think my memory is pretty good when it comes to WoW things. So, yeah, I Googled it. The reason they re-released it was for the 5-year anniversary of WoW.
Oh.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
And I think she drops a mount too. I think she drops a mount there.
Wow.
I don't know if it's rare. I think it might be
rare. Could I fly on Onyxia? Because that would be sweet.
Yeah. The mount looks like Onyxia.
Oh wow. I didn't know that either.
You? Like
no.
See me flying through the air, like coming for no, that's what I want. That's what I want.
You just land on Dalaran.
It's funny how different the thought process was with the devs like throwing Onyxia back in, because it's like Mel was saying, Nax came out because only like I think 1% of the player base actually got to clear Nax completely. And so re-releasing that makes sense. And then the Onyxia thing, like a 5-year anniversary, just random raid, like cool, okay. Thanks. Right. I mean, it's almost like Blizzard should have learned from this kind of stuff.
Come on.
Okay, so just to give you a little
Don't be
context.
crazy.
So, like, just to give you a little context of that. So, like, it was weird because a whole lot more people did Onyxia in original vanilla than, like, it got a lot of people started to think they wanted to go ahead and do Molten Core. Like, it was kind of like there wasn't a ton of people doing Molten Core. There was a bunch of people still, like, just living in the world, but Molten Core kind of, like, threw a lot of the player base off. And when Ani came out, like, it actually, like, I know the attunement was a lot harder, but everybody was already doing those dungeons. And so it wasn't actually, like, it actually, like, pushed people to, like, want to be like, oh, well, now I want to do Molten Core. Now I want to actually raid. So it was,
I mean,
like,
you know why
it
that
was
would be.
interesting. Oh, I have no idea.
I feel like in my mind that makes a lot of sense because you do an attunement that doesn't require a ton of extra effort from you, right? Like you're already doing these other things.
Yeah, you just go
But
click on a thing and
a 40-man raid in original vanilla was like 6 days a week, 5 days a week of raiding a lot of hours, right? And
yeah, it was
people
pretty, like, overwhelming to think about.
or didn't want to give that time commitment to something that they didn't know if they wanted to do, right? But you throw out Onyxia, it's a single boss. You go through it, you kind of progress through that, and you're like, oh, we could maybe do this. We could make this work, right? But it wasn't as big of a time commitment as 12 bosses that were in.
It really
Molten
kind of
Core.
blew up rating when Ani came out after Molten Core. Like, it really kind of
Right,
blew
you make
rating
the
up
effort
in
level a little
original.
bit lower, but the challenge still the same. And I think that you get people invested, and then they lose their lives, like a lot of us
Like
did
we
in
did, yeah.
vanilla.
All right, well, yep. So Wrath Cup coming out, guys.
Yes, in 3 weeks it'll be live. Don't worry about it, guys.
we'll just have to see. We hope. I don't know. I don't know what I want still. I just want to make gold for Wrath, and so if the beta comes out, that's going to really hinder my gold making, just like it did in the end of Classic. So,
could you make enough gold for me too? Because I don't really want to make gold, but I would like gold. So that would be nice.
You just gamble, and then we can, work some out.
If only I was better at gambling. I would have so much gold.
All right. So next in the news, there's a hotfix coming. I don't know if this was in original TBC. Like, I'm so PvE dumb in TBC because I did hardcore PvE in vanilla, then in Wrath, but only PvP in the Crusade. So, like, this is new to me. You guys might be able to tell me, but there's now a skip. Once you kill Shade of Akama, you were able to just go straight to the Den of Mortal Delights, skipping Terran, Gorfine, Gurtog, Bloodboil, and Reliquary of the Lost. So, does anybody know if this was in original TBC or if this is something they're kind of changing for us?
Well, my memory is spot on. So let me tell you.
You didn't do
what
any
I remember.
PvE in TBC.
No, I know. Go ahead. Anybody else? Anybody else?
I don't remember, honestly. I was a PvP originally as well, so yeah, no idea.
Yeah, no idea either.
Yep. I mean, like,
great question, Bob. You really
we asked everybody in the guild too, and they're like, I don't know. Like,
I don't think it was.
It seems like something they've added in to try and, like, get more people glaives and stuff. Like, that's what it really feels like. But besides that, does it feel good? Because it feels good to me. Like, this sounds like a good change to me because I hate Reliquary of the Lost.
I don't know. I feel like this change is nice. It's great. Like, thank you. But it's not like a huge deal. I think our guilds will probably still run Black Temple after we clear Sunwell every single raid day. And I think we'll probably still full clear. If someone wants an item, we'll probably go. So it's just going to be Like
Well,
zero change for
Rugs,
a good amount of people, I think.
the majority of guilds, I think, may struggle to full clear Sunwell in one day. And then, I'm just saying, potential that could be a problem.
But you'll still go back, right? Like you would still go back to Black Temple, right? I feel like
Listen,
every
don't
guild
look
would want to
back.
go
You always
back, right?
look forward, don't look back.
But the
We don't like
Warglaives,
looking.
Yeah, the Warglaives.
the Warglaives are right there for the taking.
Yeah, I mean, if you ask me,
I
like,
don't use glaives. I'm a priest.
why could you just do us the SSC and TK route where we just go straight to Illidan and don't have to
Yeah,
mess
maybe
with the
they'll
rest?
open up the portal, right? And you can just walk in and just portal to that boss. That'd be great.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah. See?
You guys are horrible people.
Beginning of the end here. Beginning of the
Oh,
end.
tell us why, Ale.
End, please. One end.
I'd like to queue for a dungeon while sitting on my ass in Dalaran. Okay, thank you. Port me there.
Just port me to the last boss of this dungeon, please. This is what I would like to do. That is all I need done.
Hey,
guys,
I'm
I
all
think we
for
got this figured
catch-up
out.
stuff,
We're
though.
good.
I'm all like, maybe when it's, maybe when Sunwell's nerfed, they let us go, straight to Illidan or something like that. I don't know. Like, I'm all for catch-up stuff later.
honestly,
Like,
the
I don't
catch-up
like it
stuff
early
doesn't bug
on.
me. Like at the beginning, yeah, you're right, Bob. At the beginning, it's like, no, you can't just portal to the end boss, right? But the catch-up stuff, I feel like does bring value to leveling other characters or to bringing in ults because let's be honest, there's not anything really but GDKPs going on to run that content at that point, right? And so if you are a person that does not have $1 trillion gold to invest in a GDKP, then you're not going to get those items because nobody really wants to run those items. And if they do, they're going to GDKPs. And so I feel like there is definitely a way of just like they nerf the bosses, right? Like you nerf the bosses, and then the next phase is like you can portal from the instance to the last boss, right? Or you kill some trash, then you can go to the last boss. Like that's fine. Ale,
I don't like it. I think you should have to kill everything.
Okay, but how many times have you killed everything? So you're telling me that you want to have to kill everything, and then you're going to want to make somebody who just starts playing the game right now have to kill everything as many times as you killed everything to get that. So they're never going to catch up to you because you've already killed everything 1,000 times.
Yeah, they can join me in Wrath. I don't care.
Here, how about this? We just get rid of the trash.
That'd be cool.
Take out
Kinda
the
like
papers and the trash. I just want to parse on buses.
No, I just think that's a cool idea. It's kind of like the tower boss fights thing they put in.
Dude, I love boss fights. I hate trash. And it's because we named trash back in the day. We named it trash for a reason. Because it's trash. Like, I hate trash. Oh, so Sunwell is actually going to be kind of nice.
Back in the day at trash. Like, let's be honest. Back in the day, it was like 40 people or 25 people, whatever. And 15% of them were AFK because you were raiding for 6 hours or 5 hours or whatever it was. And you knew you were coming back tomorrow and nobody really cared about. There was no speed runs, at least to my knowledge, from my
we didn't give a shit about overall or any of that shit. Like, we just got through trash. I mean, but we were raiding 5 to 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. So like trash was where people, like 3 or 4 people were allowed to AFK for like 15 minutes to make make dinner so they could come back, and then they would relieve another group of people to go make dinner, and like you'd have to be back all for the boss so you could actually get it done. Like, so it was just a very different environment because you were doing it so much. Now I do get it. Like, I don't like it, but I do get it. Like, everybody cares about overall, but I love boss parsing. Rugs, you said something interesting about private servers, like how they didn't care about overall. Was that you or was that somebody else? You cared about boss parses, but
Can
not
I
really
clear
about
up
overall.
something first?
Yeah.
Can I clear up something before we move on here? Because I was saying that trash back in the day, people didn't pay attention, but now we can speed clear trash, so people should pay attention. Okay, that's all I
We
want.
can,
Gotcha.
but not all healers want to. Sometimes our healers have to go take breaks and go make their dinners like they used to.
Like get mana, those breaks, like mana breaks.
Who
Because
needs mana? Come on, I'm
yeah, I
pulling my
know.
rage bar. Hello?
Yes,
Yeah,
I am
and
very
you should be
aware
drink
of the
walking. What are you
rage bar
doing
is
here?
high. Yep,
Don't our mages make drink
Why
water
did
for
I
you?
die like all those people? Why did I die? You died because nobody had any freaking mana.
That's literally me. My guild
Ah!
used to never let me tank. They knew that it would just be terrible for me because I hate tanking, and for them because I would just pull and ignore all healer mana constantly.
Yep. Yep. It's
That's
fine.
awesome.
Who needs me? But yeah, sorry, Bob. Go with your question.
But yeah, so boss parsing and like the private server scene, there's been a few servers where speed kills have been something that you can track, and a leaderboard for it, either on the website and even just like a global announcement in all of chat. Whenever someone gets a new speed kill, would get announced on the server. Things like that have existed on different servers, and those have been really fun for a lot of people. Definitely interesting. I think the biggest competition is really in Realm First, but yeah, we don't care at all about trash damage.
Oh,
When it comes down to it, like our logs don't track that. There's no speed run of these raids in Wrath. That's not a thing that exists. Like that was only with Molten Core private server players, I think,
So
where
you
they would
think-
speed run Molten Core, where that trend started.
so you
But yeah,
think
it
it's
makes
maybe
sense in
because the
some way.
tools weren't there to track how good people were doing? They were like, well, I'm definitely not doing it.
I mean, even if the tools are there, I don't think anyone cared. We don't care about speed running in the Wrath private server scene. That has just been like not a thing and not a consideration at all. Like no one gives a shit about it.
Huh, maybe it's just the old school players that like, I don't know, maybe it's this retail
Well, here's the
mentality
thing.
that like has people like speed.
Okay, so you think the retail mentality and the classic vanilla crew are on the same level? Like, I don't think that tracks, right?
Yeah, I don't
But
know.
I
Wait,
think here's my opinion is that I think that the classic bosses were much easier, and I think there was only so far you could go with
oh,
trying to get a different time on a classic boss, right? And so then I think the challenge came to, well, how quickly can you do the entire thing as opposed to how quickly can you do an individual boss?
I
Because
gotcha.
the individual bosses weren't as challenging, right?
That's a good
And so
point.
maybe in Wrath, they're more challenging, and it's like, hey, if we do this slight difference, we can save this much time on this boss. But the rest of it was like, well, a lot of it's travel, a lot of it's this. Like, it doesn't mean as
Well,
much.
and-
There's not as much trash. There's a lot more trash in
Correct me-
Classic too.
Well, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, Rugs, but trash is a lot easier in Wrath than TBC and Vanilla. Like basically, like so many more people, like rogues have fan of knives. Like so many more people have ways to really cleave trash down. Like, is that an accurate statement?
That is a 100% accurate statement, and it is amazing. There's still trash that can be difficult at times. It has its moments, of course, but yes, having like an improved toolkit on your entire raid team, and I feel like just mobs dying faster, maybe because of overall damage, or maybe it was a design decision to intentionally make trash easier. But man, it is a huge breath of fresh air. That is probably my biggest complaint going from like in my heart, I'm a Wrath guy. Going to play classic TBC for the first time, that was the biggest wake up call. I hated it. It was really tough to get over.
It's definitely weird. I'd love to hear from Ayle, because Ayle was definitely big on the speed run being part of Onslaught's main raid in Classic.
Yeah. So which part?
So basically,
Just like
the speed
Wrath
run
being
part.
better in
Well,
Wrath?
No. In in classic vanilla, like the onslaught. Because I remember you telling me I should wear plate. Like, okay, but I remember you telling me way back that I should wear plate over the higher DPS items, just because it will push and make sure you don't die to get the speed faster. Like, you guys were all about speed, so I'm just curious how you think we're talking about like the speed part.
Well, yeah, that's like. I think Mel's right. It's when something is easy enough, then it goes from, just doing it to how fast can you do it, right? So I think that's definitely what pushed the speed in Classic is that, players are so experienced. It was so easy. It then became a thing of, well, how quickly can you do it? Like pretty much speedrunning a lot of the other kind of Classic games and things like that. So, yeah, I'm with Mel on this one.
Okay, yeah. I actually kind of forgotten about how much easier Trash got in Wrath until this conversation.
And like I wonder, like part of it too. I think tanks are just kind of better at tanking more things, so you can like pull more. Like
aggro's better,
way more AOE abilities. Aggro's a lot better. You're right. All the multi like the redirects with the rogues and hunters still have it, and classes just have more abilities in general.
Yeah, like. Early on, I'll be using tricks on Trash to like give it to the tank so that we can just go balls. Like a bunch of people will be doing that, like using aggro redirects like immediately so that I don't have to wait for shit. Like I just literally just go in and I know that I'm fine because I'm putting all my aggro as I do my Blade Fury, right off the bat. I just tricks the tank and boom, like I'm just in there DPSing, and it's actually a more fun thing because like all through Classic and TBC, I'm like, oh, do I start now? I don't know. I don't want them to bitch at me and me to pull and I die.
Bob Ayers on the chicken side of
dude,
things.
I do, man. Yeah. Like my C damage is so much lower than the other locks, but I oftentimes parse harder on the bosses just because I'm a chicken shit. Like it's
you
like,
oftentimes don't die though, and maybe they die more.
They do die more. They do die more.
So think of it that way. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like if we would have started Classic, like if Vanilla had started with a raid as difficult as Nax, I think that we maybe wouldn't have gotten into the speedrunning type of mentality, right? It may have been similar to the Wrath mentality of like speedrunning per boss because Nax was so much more difficult, even with the gear that we had, right?
World buffs are a big part of it too, right? Having like, what is it, 40% extra power on your character?
That's
like
fair.
that.
Yeah.
They never really
Super Saiyan is pretty. Yeah, I mean, it's like I'd argue world buffs are like 50% as the game, because you keep getting more and more world buffs as the game goes on in vanilla too. Like it's nuts. Like you're like what's the Super Saiyan? Would they merge? They do the little dance. Fusion.
Fusion.
Ha!
I don't know what it's actually called. I just know that they yell that.
Yep, and they do the crazy dance and they touch the fingers. Yep.
Oh God, let's not get into world buffs, guys. That'll take us down.
Yeah.
We've already been there, done that for 2 years, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, there is a skip now in BT. I love how we just go off on tangents. It's the best part of the show. But
you couldn't even tell me that we were asking for this and it was here.
What?
Missed opportunity.
What? I just missed it. Sorry.
Weren't we asking? Oh, we were asking for. Yeah.
Yeah, we were asking for no like.
Never mind.
This was the whole this whole conversation started at the Black Temple trash skip, or
got it.
Boss's skip.
So off topic, we couldn't see the start line.
Yeah.
I just have notes, or I'd be like, why were we talking about this? But moving on to the next piece of news. So the Isle of Quel'Danas came out Tuesday before the Sunwell raid. Lots of us didn't know how this was going to work. They said that they were going to come out and still have it open up progressively. I seem to remember back in the day that like you would fill up like to 100% on each stage, and it would swap over on server day, like on like server restart day, and then you'd go the next week and try and get the next piece. But our server Benediction had phase 1 completed in like before prime time almost. Like, how was your guys' experience with the whole Isle? I know Ayle plays on 2 servers too.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, our server, the main server I play on for Lena, has been cranking it out pretty quickly. Like, I noticed the portal was up yesterday, which was nice. So you don't have to fly, long distance. And I haven't really done much of the quests yet, but I've done a ton of the dungeons. So
Okay, Rugs?
How is Farolina compared to Benediction? Do you know? Or have you?
they're about the same. I think Benediction might have been a little bit ahead, maybe 5%, as far as unlocking the next areas on the Isle, but they were very close.
You're a dirty horde on Farolina, right?
Well, I mean, I have showered recently, so
What's wrong with Horde, Mel?
only slightly unclean.
Okay, all right. But you like cleanse yourself by having an alliance on Benediction.
Yeah, well, that and baths in the Sunwell.
Okay, good. I'm glad you're hygienic.
Oh, Rugs, have you done any of the quests or anything? And you're on Benediction with us too. So you've seen we're in phase 3 now. Like we got that last night.
We're so close to getting the badge vendor. We have all the other vendors, but we don't have the new badges.
And the stones, the jewels, gems.
Yes, yeah, access to gems. But yeah, we have been absolutely killing it, and it's great. I've been doing all the quests. I do it on all my max level characters. I'm doing my part by going into some streamers and going into their Twitch chats, and in their Twitch chats saying, "Do your dailies. Don't forget to do your dailies. Do it on all your characters."
I should do that too.
I'm doing my part.
Yeah, I've been doing it on 3 characters. I for sure get it done on 2, and then the third one I try to. But there's more and more quests now. It's actually the Isle is turning into a great time because now with 3 phases open, you can kind of do a circle and really like we did. Me and one other person did 2 of our characters before the show, 25 minutes, and then we did the next 2 characters in 30 minutes, like the entire island. And we've been doing the other ones too, but the more that open up on the island, like the faster it's going to be just to really knock out some extra gold. And you get a ton of greens. Like the drops there are crazy. Like you get tons of cloth. Like I feel like it's going to drive prices down on things.
Failing our community in this aspect. Yep.
You are. Yeah, you haven't done any yet.
I have not done anything. I have solely relied on other people to complete these tasks. And I'm sorry, kind of. But yeah, I just have not had time to go do these new things. And Bob keeps telling me about all his adventures. So I feel like I live vicariously through him, and I kind of, in a way, have done them. You know?
Can we just appreciate for a moment how wonderful this patch is?
It is. It's great.
It genuinely gives us a lot. It gives us so much content. New raid, new dungeon, new zone, new reputation, all these fun dailies, and just the island itself. It's like a great patch, and kind of paves the way for like what new patches should be in WoW. It's a great one, and a really iconic one, hilariously enough, because it's the last patch of TBC. Like you've already killed Illidan, like the box villain. So it's just kind of awesome. I'm pumped about it.
Yeah,
I think it really says a lot as to how they can maintain interest in the last phase of an expansion, right? Because like we talked about earlier, we really, it's a struggle to know that like everything you do in this phase is going to be kind of overridden by 5 levels you get into Wrath, right? But I think this does a great job of allowing there to be enough content and enough like things to do that it keeps you occupied and it keeps you thinking about this phase and it keeps you understanding that like this is fun and all of this. And I love that, even though I haven't contributed.
Yeah, and the progressive like effort to get all the contributions of the quest done so that you get further into the phase of the new phase is just kind of great. Like that kind of time gating is fun and good. And then the time gating where Blizzard actually like holds back certain bosses on the new raid, it's just completely different. I feel like this kind of like genuine time gating of things that don't impact your gameplay is just a great early decision by the devs. It's awesome.
It's been really cool because I'll get up in the morning, check this like guild Discord as I'm logging in to see if anybody's talked about we opened up the next phase. Like it's been really exciting to like, you know, the only thing I fear is that with it not being gated with like, you know, server changeover, like it might die off really fast, you know, but like it's been extremely exciting because I was going to go to bed last night. We got done with raid. I watched some shows with Mel and then I got back on and saw that we'd open up phase 3 and I was like, well, I've got to see how these quests work before everybody wakes up. So I must stay up.
And you don't have to twist Bob's arm to stay.
Yeah, I was up till 6 a.m.
like...
doing it on all my characters.
God.
I love you, Bob. Thank you. Benediction thanks you for your efforts.
Oh my God. But can we talk about the fact that we have I'm sorry, Ayle, I'm going to let you talk because I can't see you, which I'm going to blame that on the fact that I don't let you talk.
No, go ahead. I haven't really done much of the quests, just more so the dungeons. So, yeah, no, I'm good. That's why I haven't hopped in yet.
Dude, the quests are so good,
right.
dude. They're just fast and snappy. Like, I don't know, man. There's something about it that feels good, and it's not too much, like which comes later in the history of Warcraft. I heard you
talking today while I'm working on my other real life job. That it's so much easier with multiple people, but I think that's because you can get the tag and there's so many people there.
Yeah, there's so many people there.
My question is how do you think, like, we love the time gating because we're on Benediction or Faralina, right? And we're going to get these things time gated open, right? How do you feel that the other part of the population who's on maybe decent side servers or smaller servers, how do you think they feel about this?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm curious to like what the smaller servers have done as far as progression.
Are any of them left even? Like, I guess there are some, but like most servers are pretty large. But I mean, they still just have like the first part of the quests. Like, I mean, they have some, right?
I don't know how it time gates. Does it like do a percentage, or is it like you have to do a frequency, like a
we don't know
actual number amount?
Yeah, we don't know.
Right? So maybe it's percentage based. Like, no, that can't be right.
I don't think it is. I don't think it's percentage based, but it could be. I mean, get out your tinfoil hats.
I think Blizzard will probably quickly implement things just like they're doing in Season of Mastery for the Gates of Encourage, where they'll just start adding percentage. Like, hopefully they're monitoring that and helping out the lower pop servers. But I thought you were going in a different spot, like Grobulus. The one thing we were definitely missing from the Isle of Quel'Danas that we had back in the day was the PvP fights. I mean, we would take control back and forth constantly through it, and it was a blast. Yes, it took a little bit longer to do your quests, but people, you know, you'd fight a little bit, and then people would be like, all right, you've taken me twice, I've taken you twice, let's just get this done. And then, you know, it's a really neat situation that we don't have on Benediction, and that part is kind of a bummer. But
you say it's a bummer until
I did it back in the day and I loved it.
Yeah, I know. But back in the day, again, we were on smaller servers.
I would have liked it on a 3,500 total server than a 30,000 to 30,000 server. That would have been like, just thinking about the lag the first day, like the lag was nuts. I would loot and it would take like 5 seconds for it to go through the process to loot. So,
right. I just feel like this is Blizzard like promoting mega servers in a way, right? Because they're time gating things that require people on the server to do things. And instead of trying to get populations to like expand,
yeah, we're not
across
getting
different
in
servers,
that conversation.
I'm just saying,
though.
like, this definitely is in that realm. Sorry.
But yeah, okay, so that's the quest. Ayle, you've done a bunch of the dungeons. I've only done normal. I've done it multiple times to try and like kind of cheese rep fast. And normal's pretty easy, but it sounds like you've been doing heroic.
Yep, I've been knocking off one heroic on both my paladin and warrior every day. There's an incredible melee trinket in there. For Rugs is feral, I'm sure he knows. I think it's pretty good for bears and kitties too. Has expertise on it, so all the physical damage characters are in there. Going hard on that, trying to get it. So yeah, it's a little bit more difficult than the normal, but I wouldn't even say it's the hardest heroic in the game still. So
Oh, really?
yeah, it's not bad. If people have troubles, it's usually with the third boss, the PvP fight. But yeah, I think it's pretty easy. But all my characters are pretty well geared as well, so it's tough to say.
Yeah, I've been bad.
That one boss in that dungeon though, the PvP fight, it's just kind of surprisingly hard if your group is not ready for it or if you don't have a good comp for it. I definitely made the mistake by just doing a random pug group, and we didn't think about the comp at all. I think people were trying to like res the trinkets and all those things, and it was not great. We wiped like 2 or 3 times to that boss.
Okay, maybe you guys can explain it to me. Okay, the PvP, like I've done it on normal, but we just face roll and just like move through. Like we accidentally pull like there's one boss that like we were doing it. We just accidentally pulled all the trash every time we did the boss, and like we still were able to kill it. But like,
Bob,
what's the PvP boss?
Which boss was that?
Was
Which one did you pull the trash with?
Oh, it was in the room, like with a bunch of pillars, mages and stuff in the corners.
Okay, so that's actually the boss. The trash doesn't pull with it. The boss is like 6 things.
Oh,
That's what we're calling the PvP fight.
Okay, I just thought we pulled all the stuff, and I was like, all right, we'll just kill it. Like,
yeah,
I was like,
so,
cleave.
and it's based on like all the different classes and like an arena team basically. So there'll be the the demon in the middle. She's a priest healer, and then it can be any of the classes as the other characters, and they all it's kind of interesting because they actually have PvP trinkets, so they can break out a CC and healing potions. They can all like heal themselves a bit and use like a trinket to get out of CCs. And then they don't have like a really set aggro table. I think Rugs probably knows better than me, but like it either resets every little while or it's just like it's very chaotic. So, and it seems like specifically there's targeting for certain things where like the rogue will like always go for your healer, and maybe that's just like it's just chance that's happened to me. But in the groups that I've been in against the rogue, it just goes straight for the healer and just stays on the healer the whole time. It's pretty funny.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it works though, because there definitely is some type of aggro table on those mobs. They all have something where you can hold them, not just from a taunt, but a taunt will for sure get them on you. And then, yeah, they just kind of drop aggro. Like they just have something in their scripting where they're just going to like start PvPing on you and ignore you.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I definitely need to get her heroic in. I've just been running a lot of like ZGs and Karas to get badges, so definitely need to get on that.
There's definitely a cool trinket for warlocks in there that you should pick up. It's better for affliction, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna be playing Affy, so I'll definitely want that. But I also want the trinket on both my rogue and my warrior too. So
Right. Yep.
I'm playing too many characters, but let's move on to the actual Sunwell and talk about how we all did in Sunwell. Did everybody's been in, right? As of right now, like everybody's had
I've
at
been
least
in,
a
yep.
raid night.
No, I've only done trash clears actually.
No shit. All right. Well, why don't you tell us about that first then? Why is that? Is it just your raids don't really that time, or tell us why?
Yeah, so I'm in raid V in Fusion. I only have one character that I raid on actively in Fusion, and we raid on Sundays. And we, didn't want to move our raid to the release day to run an additional raid for World First. So we just kept our raid day, and we're chilling. We've been doing trash runs with just alts or anyone online to farm up some mats because it drops all the new gems. It drops sun motes. And we run it for the trash drops too. And also the plans. There's so many good new plans that drop. Everyone can get engineering goggle upgrades. There's crafting for so many good things out there.
There's the new adamantite, like hardened adamantite stuff. I forget what it is, but there's that.
Yep.
There's a bunch. Yeah. There's the new choker for jewel crafting, the hard corium choker, which is a huge piece. There's a bunch. All right, well, I don't know. Ayle, do you want to go first?
Bob, I think you should go first.
Do you think we should go first?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I leave for 2 minutes. Let Ayle go first and outshine us, and then us be like, well, here's what we did.
Yeah, we got to save the best for last, Bob.
Okay, well,
I'm just teasing.
Okay.
All right, so yeah, I mean, Mel, did you want to start off or whatever?
I mean, sure. I can
seemed
start
like you
off.
did. No, you seemed like you wanted to. I didn't say.
Well, let me just talk about my preparation here.
Okay.
Okay. So my preparation for this was like, we're gonna wipe a lot. Okay. So I was like, I got what I could from the guild bank, because thank you, Kim. Love you, Kim. And then I was like, that's not gonna cut it. I'm gonna need a lot more than that. So I went and spent all my money. No, not really. But I have all this money because I don't have to buy raid consumes every week. So I bought extra, healing elixirs, extra guardian elixirs. I don't know what they're called. Wisdom, whatever. And then I was like, I need dark runes. So I bought dark runes. You guys should be very proud. I'm usually not as prepared. And then I went through all my gear to make sure that I had all of the chants that I needed, which I did. Okay. There was only one thing that I had to do, and I did it last week, and we got that figured out. And so I went in and I was like, I'm ready. I am prepared. I am so ready to do this. And so, yeah. Then we went in, and now I'm broke again and have to buy a bunch of elixirs next week too.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can talk about how we went in and what we did, but if you want to do that, go.
All right. So
That's where I thought it was going, but it was not.
Well,
no, okay.
I mean, it was, but Bob sounded like he had a whole spiel, so I didn't want to override that.
Oh well, I mean, I did have a spiel, but I just you sounded like you wanted to take us in. So, all right, so
I just wanted to confirm that I was prepared.
So I, was, I talked about it earlier in the show, and I was a little bit of PTSD from the Stay Safe raid. And so we get in there, and I'm just like, all right, ready to go. I got all my consumes. Everything's good. We start doing the trash, and I thought, I don't know, I guess I thought that, we know exactly what mobs to pull out and different things, and what mobs did everything. I should have probably researched that, but I just figured like we'd have that node.
I see Rugs looking at you with very judging eyes right now.
This is what he talked about pre-show.
100%.
Mhm.
I think
Bob.
when Bob restarted his computer, I'm pretty
You
sure
missed
this
that?
was our question. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
It's all good.
Bob, you said I was hoping we would know.
yeah,
What we are we talking about?
no
We don't
one
know.
knew. No one knew.
You were hoping everybody else knew.
I was hoping like the officers knew and we're going to be like, all right, we're going to pull this out. But no, we did the same AoE thing that we tried in Stay Safe's raid. And
oh, God.
that's how it started out.
No.
Yeah, that's exactly how it started out.
Okay. Let me offer a little color here because the officers did post a very explicit Google Doc of what each mob does, what path we're taking. And it was up to the raiders to read that and follow it, right? Now, yes, they have in the past held our hands very tightly and really like let us go through raids without any any knowledge of our own, but they did. I know Harscare posted a document, was like, this is what people need to know. Please review this before raid.
So we get in there and we did get a call to single target one mob down right at the start. Like it was the not the priest. Gosh, I'm forgetting which one, but we did get that. Of course, every warlock except for me still seated. I single targeted, had way less DPS, but I still single targeted, but everybody else didn't. So that was a little bit of a shit show right there on the first packs. Like, and we're just like the seeds are going out just like it's Black Temple or it's, Highjaw or it's SSC. And like that would, like I can't talk to all the other classes because I don't really know. All I know is our classes, and the seeds were definitely flying. And Harshkar had to be like, hey guys, stop doing the seeds. And someone in my chat was like, oh, well, he's calling not to obsede, but he's topping the charts with Whirlwind. I was like, yeah, but you got to remember Whirlwind has a much shorter radius than Seed does. Like, so, lots of people don't think about these things. But lots of people don't think about these things. Like a different class's cleave can be very different from your cleave. Like the seeds were breaking things and but the seeds just kept flying like for a long time. So the trash was going rough. Then we get to these scouts. And the scouts, I probably should have spoken up and been like, dude, there's no way to CC him at all. We tried it all in Stay Safe's raid, but I didn't because I'm not an officer. And it's not really my place to talk. They were asking people to clear comms. So I didn't say anything, but we were trying to I'm not going to call out who kept pulling, but someone kept getting too close and always pulling the scout. And so we'd always get the entire room. It was a complete shit show for the start of it. So that was the trash. I'm not going to go through everything, but it actually wasn't one of our officers, Jasmine, had said, we're going to be doing an hour of trash, so definitely use your cooldowns. And then we made, I didn't, but people made fun of him when we got, to the first boss because it was only 32 minutes into raid. So even with wiping a ton, a good, 7 times probably wiped through the first set of trash, we did get to the first boss in 32 minutes. So
good. So next week, all of your warriors should be popping wreck on the first trash pack, right? It'll be up for Kale.
Maybe. Well, hopefully we did get these scouts down afterward. We didn't get them down. We got 50-50. like where we'd all cast at one time and try and take them out immediately, like without trying to CC or someone walking too close and pulling them. But with you here, Rugs, what is the or Ale too, if you want to speak, what's the best strategy for scouts?
I think you generally want to set it up in such a way that you pull the big robots without the scout, because they're going to run to the nearest robot, I believe, and aggro the closest trash back, right? So if you're able to clear the robots nearest the scouts when they're not there, then you can grab the scout, everybody winds up on it, and then you just move directly in the trash back. That's what we did, and it was fairly smooth. We didn't have any wipes, but Rex, you guys were farming trash, so you must have like a really, really good way to do it.
We actually, when we farm trash, we don't do the scout pulls. We just do the first like 4 pulls of trash, and then we reset. And I'm gonna be honest here. I hope no one from Fusion is watching, but I have not looked at trash stuff at all. And don't tell my raid leader that, but I have no knowledge of any trash tactics, and I feel like
it's something that like it's something that like the leadership is supposed to do. Like it's really like they're supposed to call out the targets. That tanks are supposed to do it. Like, yes, you should know mechanics you have to do, but at the same time, like you need to know just what to attack. You know, like
Ale, I feel like you need to have my back on this. In our pre-show, we were definitely talking, and Rugs was definitely pissed about people that didn't know.
Okay, look. I mean, boss stuff is important, and I think trash is just easily forgotten. We always forget the first week of Black Temple, the first week of Hyjal. It was a big wake up call. You're wiping to random shit. It adds like 4 hours of raid time.
Okay,
and then the same thing with the first hallway. It's just trash.
Okay.
It's like practice for
we all suffer from it. We can never learn. We do this going into every new raid. We're always like, oh, it'll be fine. Always. Just no one thinks about trash.
Stoof in chat says that Harskar explained all the pulls and trash. Stoof, I was sober in there. It didn't happen, and I streamed it. You can watch it on stream.
Harskar did explain all of the.
Maybe other people were talking over him then.
Yes, other people were talking over him, and there was some controversial opinions about how we should do trash. And so those kind of bled into that. And that's why the whole like, hey, everybody let Harskar talk was kind of thrown out there. So he definitely did have a plan going in, and we could have followed that plan. But I think because it was the first raid and everybody was in there, it was like, maybe this is like, he hadn't done it before. So he wasn't 100% confident in his plan, right? And so I think he was allowing others to kind of input into it. And like I said in pre-show, I feel like our guild is very, very skilled in doing it once we've seen it. And I think that we're just that type of guild that needs, okay, like me, I don't remember anything until I'm immersed in the environment. That is our guild. We watch videos, we look at Google Docs, and we say, yeah, I'm totally prepared. I got this. I got all my consumes. I got everything. But then all of a sudden it's like, wait, what's happening? Like, this person didn't go where they're supposed to go. So now my whole like knowledge of this is thrown off. And I think we get very good once we do it. And I'm okay with that. I am okay with the fact that we need to trial and error things, that we need to do things, that we go in there and the first couple trash mobs are tough and then they're good. Other than the trash mobs that they pulled when none of our priests had mana and they expected a lot of Circle of Healing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was like, there was one person who was in front and pulled the scout many times. And I don't know if they realized that they were doing it, but yeah, there was definitely that problem. But so, yeah, basically, we got to the first boss. At that point, like, I was getting really nervous. I thought we were just like, we were sitting with 6 healers, and we had one healer that was supposed to be late, and that healer wasn't there by the time we got to the first boss. So I started getting really nervous because everything I had heard prior is 7 healers, 7 healers, 7 healers, 7 healers, 7 healers, 7 healers, 7 healers. And so I got really nervous, and we did have a healer standing outside, but I talked to Harskar, the GM, later and found out the reason he didn't consider that an actual healer. It's someone who's new, who's like not geared, and he was worried that healer wouldn't have enough health points to actually get through the different AoE ticks. So,
hey, Bob,
what
question for you.
Shoot.
Sorry to interrupt.
Oh no!
Are you guys saying you need another healer?
No.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
No. No.
Like, we've got one that's like we're like gearing up at the moment, but like, yeah, we're definitely like, we switched spots, like we switched our booby back to healing. His gear is probably not up to snuff because he's been getting DPS gear for a while too. So we're probably kind of hurting at heals at the moment, like pretty bad. But okay, so we are we're there, and like, I'm like scared because like we just have 6, and we just go ahead and we start. Like, at the time I was frustrated because we had one more outside, but after talking to the GM, like, I get it. Like, if they don't have enough gear, like, it's not really a good idea to bring them in. And one of our healers was supposed to be late, supposed to come. So we just start running the boss, the first boss, with 6 heals, and we had groups set up, like they were set up good by Harskar and
Okay, wait. Like, here's how we had the group set up. So we had a DPS core in 3 different groups, right? So we had A, B, and C, and we had DPS in each one, split up, and then we had 2 healers in each one, split up, and then we had a tank that was in each one, split up. And we also made sure that there was a dispel in each of the groups, right? So it sounded like we were going to be just fine going into this, right?
Yeah.
Do you mind if I keep talking about it? Because
Go ahead.
yeah, go.
so it sounded like we were going to be just fine. And so the idea was that, hey, you're in group A, B, or C. If you get ported, call out A, B, or C, right? And everybody else in that group needs to memorize their group number or their group letter, and they need to go into that portal. And so,
Harskar says, like, I even asked, or no, Harskar put me on the point and was like, all right, Bob, you get ported. What do you say? And I was like, I got ported group B. He goes, just say B. This is important because no one just said a letter the entire time. Jasmine even said, maybe you say B, 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 B. But everybody said, I got ported. Or Group C, I got ported. It was hilarious that Harskar literally set it up, literally asked me, then corrected me and said, just say a letter. And no one throughout our entire attempts did it correctly once.
yes. So the thing is that we went through in the first run, it was like somebody gets ported. They said, I got ported A or whatever it is. And then we slowly started to realize that all of our healers and tanks were going into the portals. And, we missed that memo that they were supposed to go into every other, right? And so we kept losing the tank that was on top because they had legit nobody was up there. And so that was the thing. And then we decided, hey, well, the tanks will alternate and they'll only go every other portal, which I was even skeptical at first. I was like, but how is that going to work? Like, what if like this one goes down? Like, and either way, that's what we decided to do. So we did that a couple tries, and that didn't work. People kept dying. There wasn't enough healers up with the tank to heal them, or there wasn't enough healers down below to heal. And then we went to, okay, the healers and the tanks have their own groups. They're going to go on every second or every third portal, right? So like the healer and tank group in group 1 are going to go on portal 1, and then the healer and tank group in group 2 are going to go on portal 3, and the healer and tank group in group 3 are going to go on portal 5. And so that's what we ended up doing. It becomes very complicated, right? Because the first time we change that, I get ported first call, right? And I'm like, I got ported A. Like, I don't like, I was no longer in an A, B, and C group.
Right.
And so I'm like, oh crap. And so,
Every time you change that up, people, like, everybody has to, change to what you're calling out. Yeah.
And half the people don't hear the change too. Like, they're trying to get their mind, like me too, like trying to get their mind to the fight, trying to go over what's happened. Like, there's tons of chatter on Discord. Like, it gets tough for everybody.
Yeah. And so I think that, as we did it, we realized these different things that were like, okay, we need to fix this. Oh, okay, we need to fix this. And it did, go a lot better each time. So it's not like we were going backwards most of the time. Like, there was obviously that fight that you like got in and the tank died automatically and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, just wipe it, whatever. I will say, when you're in the Shadow Realm, if they wipe up top, you get to survive, which is kind of cool.
That is true,
right?
Yeah,
like
got to keep buffs a couple times, but
yeah.
Well, we kind of figured out.
Hold on. Let me finish my synopsis from my view of it.
Okay.
And so we kept changing different things, and I think that ended up working. And we had healers and tanks go down every other. One thing I will say is one of the really big struggles that we had, I say we, but I mean me, is that when the portal would come up and I'd be like, okay, that's my portal to go down, I'd go over there and you click on it, but there's like a lag.
It's not a lag, it's a cooldown.
It's not a lag. It's a cooldown. So somebody clicks it and then there's like a
second and a half, maybe
1 to 2 second cooldown that you can't click it again, right? So I'm like clicking it and I'm like, well, why can't I go in? And then finally I get in, and then all of a sudden I'm in there, but now I don't port up as quickly because the timer starts once you go in. So my 60-second timer started when I got down there, but the tank that went down there with me, his 60-second timer started 10 seconds earlier, right? So he's going up earlier to tank the boss, and I'm not up there for another 10 seconds because I didn't get into the portal. And Harscar did say, like, let the healers and the tanks go through first. But sometimes the portal was on the opposite side, and legit just said nobody listened to that, to be honest. Because I was sitting there. I thought I was bugged. I was like, is the tail like swiping it that I can't like click it? Like, I thought it was my error for a long time. I was like, clicking away. And I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of moving pieces within that fight that make it very difficult. And then if you don't have a tank downstairs, or if somebody dies, you're really struggling as to, like, if a healer or a tank dies, you're really struggling, especially since we had 6 healers, right? So if a healer or a tank dies, we were really in a hard spot as to somebody's not going to survive.
Well, and it also turns out that tanks can be warped. So just like in the middle of tanking.
No, they can't. Nope, they can't. The reason Gunt was warped is because he's a pally and he had his macro, and the second
he bubbled.
He did it at the wrong time, and he fixed that later. He realized, but he did it at the wrong time. And the split second that he bubbled, The warp went
Oh,
out, and
interesting.
he went
Okay.
down to the bottom. Yeah,
That's
I
hilarious.
missed that part.
it was legit like a very freak error, and he realized later like I should do it after the warp has already happened because there's no chance of a warp happening right again after that. But it was like one of our early pulls, and it was like, wait, our main tank just went below. What just happened? But yeah,
Mel, how long did it take y'all to progress that fight?
Ooh.
I mean, like 5 minutes. Yeah, tops. No, like an hour and a half.
Yeah, it was an hour and a half. It was
Yeah.
yeah, it was not fun, but there was a lot of so basically we explained like the first part of the fight was explained when someone from a group got ported, but we didn't think about it later on in the fight after you've had 3 ports. It's something we thought about like towards the end of actually doing it, but like didn't think about it at the time, is that once that rotation is set, you should just keep that rotation so you don't take too much stacks up top. There were a lot of groups called that those groups would go down, but they only had like 2 or 3 stacks because they had just popped back up, and the other groups are sitting there with 6 or 7 stacks and didn't go back down. And so like we feel that like
Okay, but
next
this is
week
even before the first round, right? That's another thing we changed, is because the first round is very random, right? Like it could port somebody from group A all 3 times. Well, not all 3 times because they're probably down there. But it could port somebody from group A, then port somebody from group B, then port somebody from group A again,
Yep,
right?
and
then
that's the
group
problem.
C is sitting there and they've got multiple stacks, so they're ticking up their damage and they're dying, right? And so we ended up changing it to and I don't know, like, I'm not gonna lie, we got this boss down by the hair of our chinny chin chin.
Oh yeah, it was
right?
it was like
Could I repeat it tomorrow?
yeah, we'll see.
Probably not. But I mean, like, multiple people were dead. We were very much in the like death zone there. But I feel like, so what we ended up doing was saying group A, B, and C are going to go in that order. They're going to go group A, then they're going to go group B, and then they're going to go group C, no matter who gets ported, right? And then you're just going to go as you have
On your rotation.
5 or 6 stacks. You're going to go down to the bottom. And that is how we survived. Can I say that I am very confident in that is how you should do it? No. But we did do it that way, and it seemed much cleaner than having groups, because as a priest, like healing, like the massive healing that had to go out throughout the raid, throughout both groups, like on the bottom and on the top, was crazy. And there's no way that I can heal the tank to full and Bob is a warlock over here at the same time when I'm the only healer up front, right?
Yeah, I actually ended up going with different like I did different things through the different fights. Like a few of the fights I sacked my Fell Hunter rather than my Succubus, so I never had to tap ever. Like I literally just didn't tap the entirety of the fights where I sacked the Fell Hunter, because I get just like 5% of my mana back every 4 seconds, or 3%. Like it's never ending mana. You just sacrifice 15% damage. So like I tried that out a little bit.
You at like higher rates as they stack up.
Yeah, but yeah, what I'm saying is I took life tap out of the equation. Like I never tapped when I
Yes, that's very much appreciated.
Yeah, well, but like you sacrifice 15% damage for never tapping. Like I just like tried that out like on 2 of the different polls, like just to see if it helped. Like I didn't have that on the ending focus, but like Metagoblin had popped
Were
in
you
my chat and
alive
said that that's
at
what
the
he
end?
did. Yeah, I was in those, but
Mm.
I don't know if it'd be a good idea for all the warlocks to do that. I'm not sure. Like,
Don't listen to her, Bob. She's trying to manipulate you. Just blame it on the
Listen,
healers. If you need
yeah.
to get mana back, you should life tap. Don't ever sacrifice your DPS for that.
You don't have to tell him that. Yes, I'm very aware. Also, the healers will not heal you over a tank. So, to each their own. If you would like to life tap, feel free. But you're not my focus. And I maybe will give you a circle of healing.
well, I don't know. The warlocks, like the highest DPS, should also be your second focus on any fight if you're a healer. Like, but that's besides the point. Like,
Says the warlock
so-
DPS.
says the one that wants to kill bosses.
You are my second.
Sorry,
you are
that's
my
how the game
second
works.
heal, okay, I just don't like to admit it.
But
Not you, but your group.
Yeah, well, that's
Listen,
another thing.
later on,
like,
when I was in the Shadow Priest group, I could circle heal my life away. So it was wonderful.
so that's another point. Like, we did have, like, the groups that we had split up were kind of like just the regular groups. Like, should we have like had groups like for the portals and stuff split up where like different people went down? Like, I don't know. Like, I think probably not, just because of the way group buffs work in TBC, but it seemed like if the warlocks didn't go down early, like we didn't, like the boss was not, like, was pretty, like, basically if we went down third, then we had to hold lust that entire time, and then the boss down below was way higher health than the boss up top. So we had to stop damage on the boss up top so many different attempts because the locks didn't go first. So I wonder if like that's something we should change, like next week, like have the locks go first so they can pop lust below
instead of the healer.
No, there's only three.
The worst DPS.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
It's not all about the healers, Mel.
It is actually all about the healers. Because we get blamed when people die, but they also don't do anything to help us. So this is, yeah, we can go on the soapbox. I can get there.
We have
But-
bunch.
But so, okay, Ale, since we
No,
went,
I didn't even get to. I didn't
what are
even
you
get to say
talking
my
about?
point.
We're done. Go.
Fine. Go.
We're done talking about our kill of the boss. Like, we got it down by the hair of a chin chin chin. Did you have something else?
I did. It has escaped my mind now. So go ahead.
All right, Ale. So how did what's the name of your guild again? Honor,
victory or death.
or
Wait,
death.
Bob, you only killed one boss?
Hey, well,
Yeah, right?
I don't want to like make Ale do a whole like monologue of his entire Sunwell, so I figured this would be a good time for him to like
We'll do
catch
we'll
up.
do 1 and 1.
Yeah,
No,
we'll do
I
1 and
understand
1.
you're passing the mic, but did y'all only kill one boss? Like you're
Hey! What? That's
Okay,
Spoilers.
okay, all right.
Spoilers.
We killed every boss.
Okay.
Just
In due
wait for
time.
that.
In due time.
Go, Ale. Go.
Go,
Tell
Ale.
us.
Yeah, so we originally started off with a strategy where we had 5 groups and then 3 separate tank groups rotating. But we ran into a similar problem as you guys, where there ended up being a lot of miscommunication. What happens if it ported the tank that was going to, tank next? So like a really set rotation wasn't working for us because it just quickly turned into chaos. And this fight has the most like kind of moving parts and personal responsibility, probably the most out of anything in the expansion so far. Like I was going to say the most since Vash, but even for this, as far as like individuals having to make decisions, I feel like there's a lot more going on. Like even for things like, say, if you miss a portal, you need to make sure that you take a portal, because otherwise you're going to get too many debuffs. You're just going to die, right? So
Yeah, but if you're
Yeah.
a healer and you miss a portal and you take the next portal and multiple healers go down, then
yeah,
take-
yep. And so, and that's where like we were realizing that there was a lot of problems with that, because like you said, if you missed one, you have to go next. well, you have to communicate and you have to like think of something on the fly. Like, oh, okay, this is my group. I'll wait one now. Like, all the healers are like shifted one, and it's like that's a lot of mental bandwidth for people to like calculate on the fly when they're also doing all sorts of other things, right?
Right.
Staying spread apart, doing their normal roles of DPS or healing. So we were running into some problems with that. So we ended up going with 4 groups, I think. Pardon me. Sorry, no, 5 groups. We still went with, but then we just said, have the groups roughly together, and then we went in order basically, and we had 2 and 4 groups didn't have a tank. We let Calic tank down below, and we basically would just do that. So the first group would go, and then after that it would be the next group, and then all the people around them, or like 5 people around them, right? So that ended up working for us.
By, like, range around the portal. You did it by like range around the portal.
Yep.
Okay.
And that was also a little bit chaotic, but we had our cleanest attempt doing that, and we ended up with a kill, and that just seemed to work better because people were like, for example, there'd be a portal open up on the butt, and it'd be on the other side with a melee, and people at range wouldn't be able to get to it, right? So we just had the people call out when they went in, and we did good. Did you guys know about the buff that Calic gives?
He gives like a bunch of different buffs and debuffs. Like I got the slow cast buff plenty of times, let me tell you.
On the bottom, Calic supposedly has a buff. I actually want to look into this. People were saying to stack on him, and so I did it, but that feels really bad as a melee to do that. So I actually wanted to see if that was true.
Wait, is that the one in the shadow realm?
Yeah.
It's supposedly
there's the wild magic buffs, which I don't think you have to be stacked to get them, but you have to be careful because
that's
there's
up top,
one
isn't
that
it?
does. No, I don't think so. Is it?
I think so.
Oh.
Yeah,
there's no wild magic down below, is there?
I have no idea. Yeah. But I do know there are bosses in Sunwell that don't parry haste. So if he doesn't parry haste, like it might not be that bad. Or at least if casters aren't going to parry haste you. So like, I don't know. That's something we'll definitely want to look into going forward. But yeah. Interesting.
Well, I think one hard thing that we came into was decurses, right? Making sure that there was a decurse always down in the shadow realm, right? And 2 of our decursors were healers. So they always had to be down there. Yeah, Resto.
Yeah, so we only have one mage at the moment. It's kind of rough. But so how many attempts did it take? We wiped 9 times and killed him on the 10th. Nice.
We wiped 8 times, killed him on the 9th. But we also had 2 bugged attempts.
No excuses, Ayle.
I actually watched one of those bugged attempts on Def Camp's thing, and it looked like just one person just died. Like it looked like the tank just died.
The portal. Did you guys not have that ever?
No, there was times. Okay, there was a time
I don't think so.
where the boss all of a sudden, like it was on the tank, and then all of a sudden just went and like killed our holy pally, and then just like came back. And it was like, what just happened? Like, come on, the holy pally's not stealing aggro off of the feral druid.
Yeah, so what happened with us is that the first person sent down, the demon down below would immediately melee that person and kill them, and it would reset the entire encounter.
Okay, well, at least it reset it, and it didn't like kill you all.
Yeah, just the one person. But it was really funny. It happened to us twice, and we're like, okay, this is like definitely a bug. Because
wait, so you count those as wipes? See, I wouldn't count those as wipes.
But that's what it counts on our Warcraft logs. So
no. Huh. Yeah, but I like that better. 8 wipes. We did 9 wipes. Yeah, we're close.
All right,
Pretty
so
much at the same level here, Ale.
All right. Well, how
So-
many wipes on Brutalis?
so we moved on to Brutalis, and we had a whole thing set up of where people were supposed to stand. We started out first, like the first attempts, we were spread way too far out. People just weren't getting
Oh, wait,
heals.
can I talk about our whole diagram
We gotta,
here?
well, we
first?
have to kind of push through this pretty fast here.
Okay, fine.
So we had people in pyramids with the point you're pointing towards the boss behind the tank on either side, and we weren't stacked well initially. People were giving people the fire debuff like constantly all over the place. Like it was pretty rough like throughout that part, but like we seemed to be doing okay. Like it just was like a really long fight, and I don't know that people were really ready for like how long it was. Like, oh, you're muted, Mel.
Oh, our barriers were the fact that initially the burn zone that was over on the opposite side of the melee was a little bit too far from the healers that they had scheduled to be in the burn zone, because people don't understand
Because
what
we were spread out too
4 feet
far.
is, right? So like we needed to condense, and then we changed healers rotations and things like that, and then the burn zone was better, but people still frequently, like if they got burned and their timer was going down when the tanks were also losing a lot of health, like being stomped or something, people are focusing on the tanks and not on you, so you are going to die. And I think the other differences that we made was if a person on the right side of our little pizza would get the burn, having everybody make sure, like announce it and say like, hey, move out of my way so I can get through, so I can get to the other side and I can get to the burn zone, instead of me trickling it through 7 people getting into the burn zone as well.
Yeah. And so once we like scooted in, it like got way better. The final attempt, which was our 9th attempt, got him to 1%. I think he got down to 250K at one point, and he's got millions of health. Like it was really close. And at that point, the raid was basically, we had done one more attempt past raid time. We didn't keep anybody, but if we had the 10th, I think we would have definitely dropped the boss.
Yeah.
Like
For sure.
But y'all have all those warglaves.
I know.
What happened? How do you not at 1%? Come on, Bob.
Yep.
Dude,
Well, there was
rough.
so many. Those warglaves were not alive, by the way. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if they were, but they probably weren't alive because nobody was alive. It was mainly like healers and a random hunter out in the back. But the main thing is that I think, again, we went in, we tried different things. Like we tried like pulling when we jumped down the first time, which was an awful idea, right? And then we came in and we like went to the side and like set up. And then we were trying to like get everybody over to the other side with our tank that was going to tank that. And we swapped tanks to have the other tank it first because he was facing this way. So there was a lot of learning, I think, that was involved in the different 9 attempts that we did, that I think we go in next week and we say, okay, we've already learned all of this. Here's what we've got. And
I'm
we
actually
move forward from there.
I'm actually much more confident about taking Brutalis out next week than I am the first boss.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
I'm pretty sure
feel
like Brutalis we got down. Like
yeah,
I'm
we
worried
figured
about the
out
first
Brutalis.
boss.
The other one, I feel like we kind of winged it.
Yeah, we kind of got a little
I feel
lucky
like we were
here. But yeah, so how did you do on that fight, Ale?
Oh, Stu just did mention one of our warglaves was sat for Brutalis for an
Wow.
extra healer.
Our one offhand Wargrave
No.
rogue.
Yeah, one offhand warglaive.
I see. We actually finished our Warglaive set the night before,
Congrats.
so on Wednesday, which was great because our rogue just did insane damage after that. So
Yeah,
it was like a helicopter.
Our rogue IDDQD has both glaives, and he's just been pumping since he got both glaives. It's nuts.
Yeah, so for us, we killed it. It took us 8 wipes, and on the 9th one, we killed it. Our 8th attempt was actually a 0% wipe. He had less than 20k HP left when he died, and he was in the enrage phase for 30 seconds, which was pretty funny. And yeah, I don't know, like we actually felt really good about it. We were going to struggle because it's just everybody's talking about Brutalis and how how much of a wall he is for average guilds, and like we don't really know where we stack up. We did kill everything pre-nerf in T5, but it did take us about a month. So we're like, where are we going to struggle in Sunwell? Like, is it going to start at Brutalis, or are we going to go to Twins, or is it going to be Muru, right? So we weren't really sure how we were going to do. We were wanting to get just one boss, so getting both of them, and feeling that like we actually, our last attempt was like a flawless attempt. We didn't have anybody die, and we actually, like, at the time that it was killed, it was like the 80th fastest kill in the world. So we killed it at like 5 minutes. So it was just like everything came together. We pumped super hard on it. We had like a good like kill time as well. So it was just everything came together in the last 2, and like it actually felt really good. So
how did you do it? Did you guys have 2 pizzas on the outsides?
2 pizzas?
Yeah, that's what we called them. Like,
you said 2
It looked like pyramids
pizzas?
with the points at each tank's butt, like how we spread out the raid.
Yeah, I think that's pretty similar, because we had the tanks flip 180, kind of same with you guys, right? Is that how you did it? You have a tank on one side, tank on the other, and they'll taunt. Totally kind of flips the boss.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. That's pretty much exactly what we did. And the melee, if you had it, you just moved into his model, and that was like enough, because he's such a big, he's got a big booty.
Yeah, he does, for sure. So what do you think was the biggest struggle when you guys were trying to down him in the first 8 tries?
Yeah, it was definitely positioning, because we were getting the groups were actually too close together, and so they were getting too many stacks, right? So when we taunted,
like opposite of us.
Yeah.
Oh, you're saying the right, like the east and west group were too close together?
Like no, the first tank group was too close to the second tank group. When the second group would taunt, and he would do the ability, some people from the first group would get stacks, and so that eventually led to them always dying. Our first pull was actually hilarious. Our tank died in like 5 seconds. We weren't ready for the damage, I guess. I don't know, because like we told everybody this is a big healing fight.
From the ledge. Did you drop down from the ledge, or did you guys go over to the left and like set up?
Yeah, we went over to the left to set up.
Okay, so our first pull, we dropped down from the ledge, or some people ran around the ramp, and our tank got there, and all of our healers were trying to position.
Yeah,
and Yip also jumped off the ledge too, instead of just falling off the ledge.
So fall damage.
So he took more fall damage.
Funny.
It was pretty funny, but
wonderful.
It's interesting because I think this Sunwell in general is going to be a really healer intensive raid. Like, it's going to be like healers are going to have a rough time and really have to like pull their weight.
Don't blame your healers.
I'm not blaming. I'm saying you're going to have to really step it up. It's
very healing intensive. Yeah. It's like a throughput fight. It's like a patchwork for healers almost. There's so much healing going out.
There is. And it's definitely a different zone for me as a priest, because I'm more circle of healing than I was in patchwork, where I was like so focused on the tank, right? But I will say, Kim brought up a good point that Binding Heal was such a valuable spell. And I'm going to tell you, like, I underuse Binding Healing 100% because I don't think about it. And I moved it to one of my buttons on my mouse, and I was like, I use it so much, and it was so valuable because there's so many times that I was low and the tank was low. And instead of using Circle of Healing, which is going to give them a little bit of health, or I'm probably not in the tank group, I would use Binding Heal on them, and it was glorious. And so, to all you priests out there, put Binding Heal on your rotation because it's definitely worth it.
Doesn't Binding Heal cause no threat as well?
Don't ask me questions like that. Come on, Rugs. I don't know.
Okay. Well, maybe it just does low threat or something. It does kind of help like manage your threat too as a healer when you're healing like trash or something.
Yeah, that's exactly why I used it.
I know Prayer of Mending doesn't cause threat, but I don't know about Binding Heal. I'm not sure.
Prayer of Mending actually gives threat to the person that it.
Oh, even more so. Okay.
Yeah, so that's why you put it on the tank when they go in, because they get more threat, and it doesn't give you any threat. I think. You guys don't take my word for that.
It does. You're right. You're right.
Okay. But
all right.
Yeah, so go ahead.
Oh, so okay. So, Ayle, you got that down, but you didn't go on any further.
Yeah, that's where we decided to end. We raid for 3 hours, and we just finished there. Like, we're not super hardcore. Like, we decided that we're going to go back on Monday and see if we can get Felness down and start working on twins, right? So, yeah, we're actually really happy with that progress because we were thinking that Brutalis might be a bit more of a challenge. And it sounds like you guys have it down too, so that's really good.
Yeah, initially,
I think if we would have given it one more try, I think we would have gotten it. But I feel like we're at a point where people are excited to come back to raid on Tuesday because we know that we can get that boss down.
Yeah, initially, like, I wasn't very happy with our progress, but looking at all the numbers next day, like, it felt a lot better knowing that so many people struggled. And we're going to see even more numbers by the end of the week. Like, next week will really be the tell of like how hard it is, but it's definitely hard. So it's definitely like it's going to be a challenge, and I think we're up to it, and I'm excited to do it. But yeah, it was
fun.
Interesting.
It's fun. I like it.
All right, so
are you excited to do it? You've just been gathering all this information, right? Like, you guys are gonna whiz by and do it.
It's not gonna be a problem at all. I'm looking forward to it though. I'm looking forward to it. Mostly Muru is gonna be like the first like real check.
Well, we're definitely gonna do your interview after, so we can find out what happened Sunday. So we're definitely doing the interview after Sunday because we've gone too far. Anybody who's listening will be doing the interview later. Rugs is going to have to go. Unfortunately, we started the show like way too late because of technical difficulties. So, but there's one more piece of news. Unless you guys want to talk about the world first, I'm going to just tell them the one piece of news about the transfers. Does anybody have any thoughts on world first? Any takes? I know Fusion was like top 10 on a couple bosses, right?
Yeah, Fusion ended up 5th in the US and overall somewhere decent. But Fusion kind of had some troubles, unfortunate troubles. We were shooting for a little bit better. It's all good though. Still pretty decent. Like, still something to be proud of.
Yeah, it's definitely something to be proud of for sure. Mm-hmm. All right, so the last piece of news, I just wanted to let everybody know if you care, but The WoW Classic character clone service is retiring soon. This is the thing at the end of Vanilla Classic where they would allow you to move your character to a Classic Forever server, Classic Era server. You can still do that for now, but it's ending on July 26, 2022. So if you want to pay $5 and have your character there forever, now's your time. Like, it's going to be retired soon.
Put it in a trophy case.
Yeah, you got like 2 months. So
I think I'm going to do it. It's on sale right now for $5. Whitemane's actually the most popular server on Era. With like, I think they said there's 4 or 5 guilds clearing max every week on each side.
What?
There's
Maybe I'll
free
do it
transfers
then.
open to all servers, I think. So everybody's just congregated on Whitemane. And yeah, there's guilds running it. Actually, my old guild leader from Whitemane is doing
Onslaught?
speedruns on it. So no,
oh, the other one.
what's it? Risen.
Risen, yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Awesome.
anybody wants to do that? Cool. All right, guys. We're going to go ahead and start ending out the show, though, now. We will get you Rugs' interview, and we'll get his update on how awesomely his one night first clear of Sunwell went later on in the week. So stay tuned for that as a little one-off episode.
About all the wipes that they had. That's really what I'm looking forward to.
All right. So don't forget to follow us on Twitter at WC Reloaded. You can also follow the Mash Those Buttons Network at the Mash Network. If you want to send us something long form, you can send emails to wcrpodcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to join the Mash Those Buttons Discord, you can do so by going to mash.gg/Discord. How can you help us with the podcast? Ratings and reviews. We are out of reviews now to read on the show. So if you want yours read, go to Apple Podcasts or iTunes, leave a review there, or you can go to warcraftradio.com/directory and you can leave a review there. And yeah, it helps us get seen on Google and everything else. So definitely do that. Tell your guildies, tell everybody about the show, and just spread the word. That's how you can help us. All right, Mel, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at MelOverwatch, or more realistically, you can find me in game on Mel Arena.
Okay.
And Benediction. That's it. That's all I've got.
And Ayle, where can we find you?
Yeah, I actually streamed a bit recently. So
Nice.
I'm not full time in it anymore, but I think I might hop on every now and then. So you can find me on Twitch at /Ayle Gaming.
Okay, cool. And Rugs, where can we find you? And definitely talk about the podcast.
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/RUGS with a Z at the end, RUGSC. And a lot of my stuff is actually on YouTube. That's kind of where most of my content creation is. So just look me up on YouTube, Rugs, WoW, Wrath of the Lich King, I'll come up. And yeah, you can find me in game on Benediction Alliance. I'm Rugs XD in game on my Feral Druid. And yeah, so Scotty J and I have a podcast that we're also doing as well, Dalaran Sewers Pod, that is also found on Scotty's Twitch, Scotty J on Twitch, and on both of our YouTube channels as well. You can find those. That's it. And we're really looking forward to getting this podcast thing going, because it is going to be all focused on Wrath Classic, and all the things that you should know leading up to the release. So it's going to be really fun.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
It was really fun to come on and talk to you guys. And yeah, I think you guys, like, the lineup you have for guests is out of this world. Like, it's going to be a good time. Scotty's going to go through a little bit of my pain and trials and tribulations of like getting guests all together, because that's the hardest part of the whole podcast guest thing is just getting everything to work out time wise, but it's gonna be great. So definitely stay tuned for that, guys. All right, guys, let's get out of here. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.